Monee.
Page 205. Section 4. Approved levies, should it say that were filed?
I'm sorry, which one?
Section 4 under clerk's report.
Okay.
Approved levies, it says approved levies were filed. So I don't know if you wanted to put that in there, that were filed.
Township Road District approved levies were filed with the Will County Clerk's Office. I think that's okay.
Is it okay? Okay.
Yeah. You're thinking it should have a ban?
I don't know, just did something.
Well, he filed the approved levies is basically what it is. And so
Okay.
that's, yeah. Anything else? Okay. If there's nothing else, is there a motion to approve the minutes as written? Moved by Trustee Brown. Is there a second? Second. Yes. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bowles? Trustee Brown? Yes. Trustee Berger?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Daniel?
Yes. Okay, we have time for public comments now. You can stand and say. Stand and state your name.
Hello, my name is Bridget Simmons. Happy New Year to everybody. I haven't seen you guys this year yet, so Happy New Year. I hope that you all have a very blessed holiday you and your families. The Monee Township Generosity helped the University Park Lions program take 2 of their levels, the varsity and the widget team, to St. Louis for the 2013 Gridiron Midwest National Tournament. Your contributions allowed us to make payments for our coach bus, pay hotel rooms, and feed the children while on the trip. The players, coaches, and other loyal volunteers worked very hard to ensure the trip was a huge success. Fundraisers like the cookie dough sales and tagging on the street corners of University Park allowed us to generate funds as well. The children that traveled to St. Louis really enjoyed themselves and will have memories for a lifetime. While in St. Louis, the football players completed in a national tournament, which both teams received 3rd place in the tournament. They were able to eat breakfast at the hotel and eat lunch and dinner from various restaurants around the city. The hotel provided a conference room for our team, which allowed the players, coaches, and family members to eat together instead of separately. Besides playing football games, the players enjoyed swimming at the hotel, a talent show, and a visit to Dave & Buster's on the last night. The University Park Lions family left St. Louis on Sunday morning and returned to University Park on Sunday evening. We would like to take a time to thank you for your support towards the children for the Lions football program. The trip didn't just allow them to play football, it allowed the children to travel outside their community, which they otherwise would not be able to do so. They were exposed to other diverse teams and given the opportunity to play on a national level. The children were so excited about being in St. Louis that some of them shed a few tears when it was time to leave. We look forward to next season and we will keep you current with all University Park Lion games and events. And it was a convention, please.
Thank you very much.
For anybody have any questions for Brendan? That's nice that they were, and this was done over Thanksgiving, right?
Yes.
And it was like a 4-day thing that
Well, we left, we arrived Friday morning, which was the 28th, and then we left that Sunday, which was the
they,
3rd.
Friday, Saturday, and most of
Yes.
the part of Sunday.
Right.
Oh, that was nice.
Yes.
Can you make sure you get a copy of your football schedule?
Yes.
Again, it's indicative of a very successful story where the township or government entity could step up to the plate and get the results that we had. So these are life-lasting stories, impacts on these kids' lives. They would never, ever forget this. And I'm glad that the board, the Monee Township, partake in that endeavor. So, and a team mom, right?
Yes.
All right, so you would never forget it either.
And thank you so much for bringing back your report to us. That's great.
If you want one, Mr. Brown, I will give those to you personally.
Yes, sir. I did take eat your soup, like pass the soup on to someone that was sick, the soup that I brought.
And thank you so
Excellent.
much. Thank you guys so much for
Thank you.
helping with that.
So I'll take a black and white copy.
Thank you.
Those are our varsity and the widget teams that went to St. Louis.
All right, we have pictures.
And the coaches also signed them. You can see them. The coaches signed them.
Yes, I do see that on
The
the
one
list.
with St. Louis, the president, Coach Al signed them all. The other two coaches signed them.
All right,
Excellent.
thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? I think, Katrina, you're going to talk at the,
Okay.
and the,
Okay.
at our youth commission.
You just want to keep me here the whole meeting.
Yes.
Because I'm sure we'll have some questions. About
Yeah.
it all. Is that all right?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Final place to go? Okay.
No.
It has been a while since you did it.
Yeah.
That's right, you know about this.
Okay, let's move into supervisor report, the general assistance report. We had 7 intakes, 4 applications, 0 flat grants, 0 other aid, 8 pantries, 0 denied, 8 pending, 0 terminated. We spent a total of $2,695 and I can't read that, looks like 35 cents. Here it is, 55 cents. Total on that. Our holiday report was on the table. It was a huge undertaking again, and thank you again to Willa and David and everybody that volunteered. This is a report of all volunteers. You can put your name in there, Maurice.
My name is.
You can put your name in there.
Hey, give credit where credit is due.
For your 13 minutes of work.
How many seconds did you say? And she said 13, so that's really a compliment because it was 12. So that's all right. That's good. Thank you.
But we did have, well, this is a Thanksgiving basket also. Thanksgiving basket, we had 98 applications. 48 families were sponsored by the Green Gardens Baptist Church. 98 families picked up. The report from Green Gardens Baptist Church, they said, wanted to thank you again for helping us do God's work on the Thanksgiving dinners. I wanted to share a few stats with you. 50 families were fed, 149 total family members. Does not include guests invited. 960 food items were distributed. 51 $20 Jewel gift cards were given. A family of 9 received 2 of those each. 41 families came to the church. We delivered 9 of the dinners. It was a true blessing to meeting all the families that came. Our church family really enjoyed serving them. Thank you very much. James LeBlanc, which is the Green Garden Baptist Church Outreach Director, and we really thank them because they are the ones that, did 48 baskets for us, which really helped us too. For the Christmas program, there were 124 applications, 123 picked up. We served children ages 0 to 12, 126 of them. From ages 13 to 18, 65. 19 and over, 151. We had 13 from Monee, 9 from Park Forest, 101 from University Park. And as I had said before, that all the 13 and over received 1 gift each, and all those that were 12 and under received 4 gifts each. Besides, every family received food basket in the size, according to size of the family. So it was a really, really big endeavor. We couldn't have done it without Willow, without David and his crew picking everything up, without the volunteers and everybody helping pack baskets and everything else. And then there's a list of donations and what people donated, and we will probably put this in the newsletter for, which will be coming up in end of February. So that will be coming out on that. Yeah, it's great when we get it done. The senior committee update, their Valentine's lunch is coming up February 13th. They're having a guest speaker, as they usually do. I think it's somebody that has to do some health things. I've got a few correspondence from our Thanksgiving and our Christmas baskets. We received cards from a couple families. It says, our family, thank you for making our holiday brighter. Enjoy your holidays and God bless. It's always nice when people take the time to do a thank you note, because if you get out 124 families that we serve, you get 2 notes. It's good, because some years we've not gotten those. Says, dear Roland, Monee Township, thank you for putting the money in our Christmas. We will forever be grateful. Thank you for thinking of us. So it's nice that they make the effort to do that. So, there is just a notification that Congressman Kelly is having a grants workshop on Thursday, January 23rd. We had to sign up by the 21st. I'm going to go to that just to see what it's about. It's going to be at the Richardson Park Community Center. And
What day is that?
it's Thursday, January 23rd. If you want, and they were going to only have 100 people there. I don't know if they have full one or not. But if you'd like to attend, then to tell Willa and she will send your RSVP. But they are limited to 100 people.
6:30 to 12:30.
Yeah, 8:30 to 12:30 p.m. No, 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. That's what it says. I don't think it's 12. No, that is would be 12:30. It's actually. It is a morning thing. I think they were going to have coffee and, but the actual meeting starts at 9:15. I think it was coffee and everything from 8:30 to 9:15. So that's something to think about. Monday is Martin Luther King Day, and they will be having in GSU a celebration of the memory of Martin Luther King. It's a program at GSU at, see what time it is?
Starts 3:30 to 10:30.
10:30? 10:30. And the speaker is going to be Robin Kelly. So I'm going to probably try to get over there. Since I'm not working, I've never had to make it in the past, so I probably did this time. The Village of Monee, and there's a notice on the table of this, is sent a note about they're having a meeting of the Monee Tax Increment Finance District on Wednesday, January 22nd at 3:30 p.m. And I wanted people to know that, in case you were interested in attending that. I'm sorry, what?
They're talking about TIF.
They're talking to the TIF district for Monee.
Right.
It's 2, 3, and 4 on the agenda.
And then, yeah, TIF 2, 3, and 4. They, if you're interested, and they did send a cassette or CD with it, cassette with it, so if you want to, borrow the CD and see what they're talking about, that would be fine.
I'm just trying to figure out, are they looking to establish a new TIF district? Or
I don't know, it just says joint review board relative to the, it says that time to review the effectiveness, the time to review the effectiveness and status of the subject.
So these are
Areas
TIFs
that
that's
we're
already
looking for.
established.
Correct.
Just want to see what they're doing.
Okay. And if you're interested, all right, I went last Monday to a South Suburban Airport meeting that they had at GSU, and everything is still ongoing. They hope to break ground in 2016 and 2017, and they say it'll be 4 years construction, and so by 2020 or 2021, we might have an airport out there. Of course, when we first started that in I think I was 50 years old and thinking, wow, that'll be great, I can get a job out there. Well, like being in a wheelchair with a greeter, hello, welcome to the South Suburban Airport. But, yeah, so, that's everything I've got in the supervisor's report, so, clerk's report.
The annual, the list of meetings for the year 2014 were published in Sunday's Southbound Star, and also today's Monee Rapid Letter. December 30th, I managed to hold for the assessor and filed with the clerk's office by mail.
I'm sorry, say that again, you did what?
On Monday, December 30th, I administered a oath to the assessor.
Oh, for the oath,
Downstairs
right,
assessor,
right.
and filed it with the clerk's office by mail.
Okay, so it has to be done by, okay, good, that's right, they, January, they take office again, I
January 1st, church will take off.
Right,
Because I know she had to go, so
okay,
we made arrangements.
all right.
And then so,
And you did that on December 30th?
December 30th,
Okay,
it was,
okay, I thought you said January, so that's why I was.
no,
I'm like,
December 30th, Monday, December 30th.
okay, my hearing, okay, thank you.
That's all I had.
One thing I did forget is that on the table, you've got a copy of the Southland Voice, and in there you will see pictures of some, I think, bobbies in their packing baskets, and there's pictures of senior events too, so you can look through that at your leisure. Highway Commissioners report.
Snow, ice, plowing snow, salt. That's probably the biggest thing we did this, the only thing. We got that warm day, that one day, it was nice and warm. And I could see in the roads, just starting to buckle up.
Yeah,
So I don't know what we're gonna be in for when the spring comes.
probably a lot, they've got so many
So
comments
we'll have to see, I'm getting, salt should be delivered here in the next couple of days. They call it that Monday, so it should be here, next Monday for sure. So, we're doing okay on that.
Now, are you gonna have enough people that falls out for research?
Yeah. I've got some, yeah, we'll be okay, we're gonna be fine. We got a couple other guys that can, bring in, I think.
Paul had surgery on his foot?
Knee.
Knee.
Yeah.
So, right.
He had a torn, tendon off the kneecap, so they cut him open.
Yeah,
He'll be laid up for 2 weeks at least.
and in a couple weeks, yeah.
Did he do it on the job?
You did it at home.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Dave, for responding to a call I called in during this snowstorm. We had some just issues, just the way Hellebrook is configured with its cul-de-sac. So they responded and took care of that. So I really appreciate it, Dave.
Yeah.
Really did a good
But
job.
on that same line, Reese, what we usually do, we usually try to get the main streets
Shoot.
and get the roads all plowed up so the people can get in. That's the main thing, and then we keep the other roads open, and then we come back and clean those up.
And we've been doing a good job with our areas, a couple of full-time sheriff's officers when I was out in the street. We told him that he was on it. He was taking care of business.
Okay, that surprises me, because we got enough phone calls from them. In fact, they got a little bit aggravated with them. We had this drifting problems. And, I finally told them, I said, or told Paul rather than tell him, because they call him all the time. Just tell him, I says, they'll start issuing some tickets for too fast for conditions. I says, these people are going 60 miles an hour, they come across the drift, they don't know what to do, except hit the brakes, and then they're gone.
So they was very complimentary to the Monee Township drivers out there.
Good, okay,
I told them I'll pass it on.
that's great, appreciate it, that helps a whole lot.
It's good to hear good stuff.
Oh, yeah. So,
It really is.
any
Okay.
other comments?
Well, good luck for the rest of this
Oh, yeah.
month.
Yeah, we're gonna start again at 5 in the morning,
Yeah,
salt, so.
great. Anything else? Else that there? Okay. Doesn't here, Ernie, you have anything?
Nothing new.
Okay. Move on into new business. They have the ATCOI dues, which they want $75. ATCOI is the Youth Association of Illinois Township Commission on Youth, is what it stands for. And so we try to keep up with them. So is there a motion to pay them $75 dues for 2014?
So we'll
And then seconded by trustee Brown and trustee Bowles. Any discussion?
Again, they had a lot of activities going on, a lot of good things that I felt were very, very valuable to the youth organization. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it. So I'm going to lean on my colleague here to my right, Terry, to kind of look at this and look for opportunities, if you could, to attend some of their functions that's applicable to our youth program. So I challenge my colleague. So I'll try to make it.
He's assigning his duties.
Delegating or relegating.
Relegating.
She accepted.
But Terry, that's fine.
If you could.
All right.
Trustee
Nothing
Bowles?
else? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Decker?
Yes. Okay, and every year at this time, we do the mileage rate, and we base it on what the state tells us to. So it is 56 cents per mile, and so I would like a motion to approve 56 cents per mile for business miles driven in the township.
So moved.
Second by Terry. Discussion?
What was the previous?
56.5, gone down 0.5 cents.
Kitty.
Guess gas has gone down enough that they feel that, it's a hole for a while.
And how often do they?
Once a year, if there's a big increase, I think they come back and they'll do something in the interim, and, then we change it at that time,
Okay.
at this point in time.
Is there such thing as a half a penny?
And there is when you're doing mileage reports. Okay, no further discussion, is the roll call vote, please?
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Decker?
Yes, okay. We have line item transfers, it's on the table. David has line item 5580, miscellaneous services. No, we're taking it from 5580, miscellaneous services. The amount of $400 to put into 5525 operating supplies. He had a deficit of about $91 in there, so we're trying to put a little in there. So is there a motion to approve the transfer? The date says 1/17. What is the date, 16? Yeah, we need to change that date to 16.
Okay.
We'll working on tomorrow.
Well, that's when it's going to be applied.
Well, it's something to be voted on tonight, so. We have to have it on the 16th. Good catch, Mr. Wilkins.
I just said it like that.
All right, on the 16th, is there a motion to approve the line item transfer?
So,
Moved by James. Second by Debbie. Any further discussion?
I just, David, you sure you don't want to transfer more? Are you coming back?
No.
That's adequate for you? Okay.
All right. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
yes.
Supervisor Decker?
Yes. Old business, our dial-a-ride, we still are waiting for our report from Will County on our November ridership. I do know when I was at the meeting in Joliet last week that we did have 168 riders in November and only 149 in December. And January ridership was really down because of all the very, very cold weather so far. But we will, the PACE had 45 days to get from the end of December 1st to get the report to Will County, and then Will County to get it to us. So we should have it for our February meeting. So we just have nothing we're going to do there. So that's all I have on that. Project reports. Mr. Maurice Brown,
Oh.
Youth Committee.
Who was I supposed to bring back? I'm supposed to bring back the agreement, right?
You're supposed to bring back the agreement and a schedule after talking to them.
I did talk to them. It's just kind of been a little hectic past week. And they do have the contract for us to sign. They signed it. But unfortunately, they did it today. I wasn't able to do it. My wife lost her father. We had the services. I actually conducted the services today. So I'll get it tomorrow. I'll send you an email saying I'll pick it up tomorrow. So what we had, this is what's going on there. The gym floor is under construction. I
Anybody have a calendar? Bring our calendar or something. I'll tell you what we have, if possible, we can give you the agreement
Is that up to date? Is that
to approve it.
fair?
Bring my calendar. And we're looking to start first week of January, which is January 2nd. Every day, the four weeks of January, February 2nd, 9, 16, and 23rd. Anybody have any problems with those things?
Well, when is the gym floor going to be out?
The gym floor is out of commission until March the 16th.
March the 6th.
March the 16th.
That's the biggest,
That's the biggest portion of your
that's
meetings.
the biggest portion of the activities.
Right?
Oh, it is, yeah. So the question is, you know, I would like to still move forward. I mean, there's still
We've
activities.
had calls,
Mm.
we've had people call on
Yeah.
when it was going to
I
start.
would start, you know, I mean, we still have swimming and weightlifting and some other things that we'd like to get into. Yeah, I mean, no basketball court is not available, but it is what it is. I just hate to stay out until March the 16th. So I told them, you know, I put those dates, I gave them dates and put in there about the gym floor not being, the gymnasium not being available until March the 16th. And they came back and put some limitations about when the new floor is installed. And we just have to, you know, make sure that we're not coming in there with wet shoes and things like that. So again, I didn't have a chance to
Well,
pick it up.
we don't have the agreement, so we can't approve the agreement because they've been some changes until we get it to Joe here. So we can't really approve that. Until we approve an agreement, we really can't start with it, can we? So are we stuck now until our February meeting, which is February 20th?
Yeah, I just, you know, ran home and looked over my email and saw he had it, sent me an email at 11 o'clock, but I was unavailable. And I said, wow, you know, I missed it. But I thought maybe we can look at it and share with you what I know is on there. And if we thought we can approve it, with, you know, what's on there. We agree.
But we don't
I think
know.
we did something like that before.
We can approve dates, but we don't have a contract. We
Yeah.
can't approve the contract until we relook at what the new stuff they put into it and what Joe looks at it and their
Yeah,
cases.
but that's the only thing he told me. The only thing was just a stipulation. Everything else is the same with the stipulation and just ensuring that we're not coming in there with wet shoes on the new floor. But we don't go back, that's fine. It just means that.
And you want to start when? February 2nd?
That's when they actually had but this January, this Sunday, which is the 18th, I believe, the 18th. And I said, no,
Now,
we have
let's
talked
wait
about
until
it.
February, I think. So we-
And that's when, the next day, the first day of February is February 2nd.
We've got February 2nd, and then, is there anything going on in February that there are any reasons that the 9th, 16th, and 23rd, there are no holidays in February, right?
President's Day.
President's Day is what day?
That's the 17th.
17th, so you cancel the 16th.
No, I don't know if we necessarily cancel. I know we cancel holidays if it's like major holidays, something like that, on a Monday, not so much, you know, I think people look, I don't know. It's up to the board.
It's a lot of times people, if it's a 3-day weekend though, they travel, and it would be
But that
like,
seemed, to me, that seemed to be a holiday only for the schools.
yeah, but even committee people, I mean, like that's a 3-day holiday for Willa. And that's-
She's off here.
Yeah,
The township is closed?
Township closes 17th?
I don't see why.
Yeah, it
Is
is.
it?
It is.
It is.
Yeah. Scheduled holidays.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you have enough people to cover, and you want to do it on the 16th, we'll have to do that. Look at a big calendar, this calendar.
Yeah.
Then you've got March 2nd.
So March
9th,
I had,
16th, 23rd, and
I had two
30th.
9, 16, 23rd. I only had,
First to 16. First to 16.
16.
Okay, not on the
17th is a
16th,
holiday.
right, okay.
So you don't want the
That's
16th?
not in time.
So February, you're talking about the 2nd, the 9th, and the 23rd. March, you're talking the 2nd, the 9th, the 16th, 23rd, and the 30th. Is there anything in March? When is Easter?
Easter's in April. I scratched that day. I scratched the 20th of April.
Okay,
That's
all
Easter.
right, that's Easter, so April
Yeah.
20th. So April then is,
So March, all of March is
April
okay?
is 6, 13,
That's not-
27, no 20. And then we don't usually go into May, right?
Yeah, we do.
Because-
We go into May. I had two. I had the 4th and 18th available. Those are the days I submitted to them.
Sunday 11.
11th is Mother's Day, and then the 25th is the day before Memorial Day.
Yeah, okay, so 2 days.
And that's where I ended at.
All right. So we've got February 2nd to 9th to 23rd, March 2nd, March 9th, March 16th, March 23rd, March 30th, April 6th, 13th, 27th, March 4th, March 8th, May 4th and May 18th.
When is Easter?
It's the 11th. Yeah, that's the 20th that they have.
April 20th, so we don't have the 20th in it.
No.
It's
April,
the 6th, 13th, and 27th.
right.
So basically, I had took 3 Sundays out, starting in February. Now you have me have 4 Sundays out, which include one in February. So we're doing all of March, all of February except one Sunday, which is the 16th. So we're doing 2 Sundays in May, which is the 4th and the 18th. So the only change that, right now, that I sent them was the 16th of February being out.
That's when the gym floors will be.
All right.
So the gym floor is gonna be ready March the 16th, the middle of March.
Without Joe having an actually signed contract and, you know,
Again, they signed it, it's the same, but
and they say that they haven't changed anything
they haven't
else,
changed anything other than their verbiage about the what.
but we don't know that for sure. That's,
You know, because I haven't seen
we have
it.
to take their word for it.
He didn't send it to me, all he said that the contract is ready to be picked up.
I mean, can we go ahead and schedule the dates and then when we're going to be able to pick the
I
contract?
told him I
up?
sent them an email and forwarded that I'll pick it up tomorrow.
Okay, and then we can get that to Joe?
Well, you could probably do one of a couple things. One, you could approve the use, if the agreement's the same as, the past one, that to agree, or to approve the use of the GSU facilities on the same terms and conditions as we've had previously, with the exception of not being able to use the gym. We've had previous agreements.
Right.
So we kind of, maybe tie on those by saying that that the terms would be the same terms and conditions as previously agreed to, and the new agreement would be subject to approval by the council. So that we could have a new contract.
I can email it to you and our supervisor.
Until, the board's not going to really be able to sign it, it sounds like.
Until next month.
Yeah, so in the interim, I'm saying that we could approve those dates on the same terms and conditions as we've used
Previously.
on the previous contract.
With the exception of not being able to use the gym until the middle of March, and that once the gym is open, then there'll be some special requirements because of the new gym floor.
Now, one thing I did think about, but I didn't challenge it, but I thought it was worthwhile to maybe challenge it, because again, the gym is predominantly where we are absorbing and expending costs. And we go in there and try to negotiate, the cost to be less than the 6 weeks of not being able to use it.
That was my next question.
Oh.
Were we going to
Okay.
be paying the same, right?
So yeah, I didn't see anything different on that, you know, or I didn't submit it any different, I submitted it the same, but after I submitted it to him, I thought about it, and he basically did come back to me and say that they were gonna lower their costs.
And what are we paying per hour?
$50.
$50 per hour.
still in the alternates?
On the pool table? Yeah, only because that never was available.
Right.
Because of the potential damage that could occur.
Blowing up the ball?
Those basically tearing up the felt. That's what they was afraid of when we started the program.
All right,
I mean, it's
well,
up to the board if we want to hold back and not do anything until March, but again, you know, people have been asking me, and there's a lot of people don't even use the gym, and they just use the swimming pool and the weight room and all that.
I'm just wondering how it'll be interesting to see, because I think the majority of our numbers
This
that
is
come
gym, sure.
are in the gym. And
Absolutely.
now we're talking about paying
Okay.
$200 a night, plus you're using a lot of your volunteer time. Now, I'm just being a devil's advocate here, because I think we need the program. You know, that's a lot of money to put out for if you have 10 people come. And because after the first time it opens and the majority of the teenagers come and go, oh, we don't have basketball, you know.
Right,
Are they
right.
going to come back? So,
Basketball, volleyball.
I don't know. I mean, I think we should try to keep the program going, because we don't want to, we don't want it to get the interest,
Yeah.
you know, lose the interest that we've had. And we're talking, where is it? January to February. You've only got 6 weeks of, actually, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 6 Sundays before you have the gym open. So it might be worthwhile just to go ahead with it.
Coaching Monday, like where they don't have to do the gym, but tips or check, something else.
No, there was one person that I need to have some dialogue with that said that they wanted to volunteer to do things like teach techniques on this sport and that sport and all of that. So I just haven't connected with that person yet.
Well, why don't we go ahead? I mean, how do you guys feel?
I think, again, the only drawback I have is kind of share the same sentiments about having not so many people and spending those bucks.
So could you do it,
Yeah.
try one and see, and if it doesn't, not give yourself.
I think you ought to discuss it with GSU first,
As far as
the fees involved. You know, we don't have access to the gym, won't have access to the gym until the middle of March.
so lower the costs.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the
It's a
reasonable thing to
legitimate
do.
concern.
I mean, at least you can do is ask them. If they say no, it's not gonna stop us from, you know, approving the prime contract,
Sure.
because we want it. But, you know, it would be a concern.
I agree.
Well, shall we go ahead and approve the contract without actually seeing it, on the basis that Reese will get the contract to me, and we will forward it on to Joe. And once Joe has looked at it and has approved it, then if everything's okay, I can go ahead and sign it. But I think if there's going to be a difference in price, we need to talk to him about changing that price before we
Sure.
do that. And if we can get a lower price for it. But other than that, you know, I don't know. And before the date's starting in February 2nd.
See, the only
I
thing
don't like
I
certain
think,
amendment systems. Let them get the contract first.
Okay, you want to wait now with the whole thing?
Then that way we have all the details inside.
All right, so you want to wait until the February 20th meeting, okay?
so you want to just not do anything.
Just get the
February?
contract, you know, discuss it with
Because
them about
technically,
the
you only
price.
have the one, you would only be missing on Saturday.
You know.
Missing
Sunday.
two,
You'll be missing
you're missing two
Oh,
Sundays.
You're missing two
So it
Sundays.
isn't a lot, really, so, it's not a lot when we've got a lot of uncertainty, so.
And, you know, I'm going back to that cost now, you know, things, it's coming out. You go back to that cost was for a staff member being there. And
And the
even-
lifeguard.
And a lifeguard, so that lifeguard is still gonna be there, and that staff member is still gonna be there regardless if the gymnasium is not available. they still need to be there too. So I cannot see, they're gonna expend on their side the same amount of money. So I can't see them more the cost, just from that point of view. They have to expend the same time.
If they say no, you still do. If they say yes, you say no.
Don't hurt to ask, you know. So I'm just saying, no. What's our defense on that?
So, is there a motion then to hold off on this till the 20th? And then we have the actual contract in hand and know all the details? Or do you want to go ahead and do a tentative, authorization with everything as it is right now, starting February 7th?
I would prefer if we just wait until we get the contract, and all the details inside of it, and no room for that.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion? Something?
Yeah, I move that we wait for the contract for GSU to deliver before we approve it.
You're saying wait till the February meeting. Would not be done, we'd start the
Then how would
23rd.
how would we let the kids know that the 23rd? How do you want to do that?
Well, let's-
I sent out flyers to the families who are registered with us.
When is our next newsletter? Looking
It comes out the end of February, so it would be right after that, right?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how you would let them know, though. We have to let them know anyway, right?
Yeah, and I've had some people call and wanted to know when it was going to start back up. Some people, ones that have signed up for the program. So now that it's not going to be until the 23rd of February.
If we take that vote, then possibly, then you can, if there's not that many families signed up, you can just send them a little note saying that the gym nights will start again on the 23rd. And that way, if you send that now, they won't be thinking ahead of time, and that way you don't have to worry about it later.
So worst case scenario, we get charged the same amount of fee, we okay with going forward?
I think you're right, they are paying for staff members, they are paying for gympers, and I would prefer that they didn't charge us for till they get the biggest grade, they're hoping that the gym floor will be done, that would be 4 weeks only that we don't have the
Yeah,
gym
it's
floor.
pretty much done, actually,
Yeah.
basically, that's where I was there last week.
Yeah, so that's 4 weeks they're talking about, that we wouldn't have the gym floor. I mean, we suppose we could live that, if you could negotiate, I would prefer that you would negotiate a little, lower cost if you can, and I would say we would be okay with that.
I would be interested in knowing the details of the use of that floor, other than the shoes.
That was it.
That was it?
I haven't seen the
And that's
contract, but
always
verbiage.
been-
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's always been the case, but they're gonna be that much more stringent on it, because it's brand new. They're adding a basketball team to the university, and that's the whole purpose. Being a four-year university, they're gonna formalize their own basketball team, it's gonna give them the floor.
All right, there's a motion to hold off on this until we get the contract until our February 20th meeting. Is there a second to that? Second by Terry. Any further discussion?
On just the youth committee or just this issue?
Just on the scheduling of the contract and the dates. All right. Other than that, then I guess it would be a roll call.
Trustee Rose? Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Trustee Lockwood?
Yes. And Willie, you'll go ahead and get that letter just sent out saying, you won't resume gym nights until the 23rd. All right, now you had something you wanted to...
Just a real quick question, Willie.
Katrina?
I'm not sure if you was missing the December attendance for that. I saw it as I was coming here. Somehow I grabbed it last.
Okay, yeah.
I have it. I meant to bring it here, but
Okay.
I was in my haste of
Yeah,
getting here. I have it.
Okay, great.
All right. Mrs. Patient, Mrs. Job.
I'm going to pass this, you guys can take one and pass it on. This is just kind of about what I'm talking about, a little bit of history about myself. I am actually a master's student at Governor State right now. I'm starting my second year of my master's program. in addiction studies with a counseling concentration. So basically, when I graduate, I'll be eligible to become an LPC and also a CADC, basically to work with things that are related to addiction and drug use and that kind of stuff. And I'm applying for the Schweitzer Fellowship. My deadline to apply for that is February 1st. And it's a really competitive organization. They accept 30 people from the Chicago area that are all master's students that are going into something that's related to the health field. So we even get like, in there they get like dentist students and doctor students and stuff that are working on their master's or their PhD. And what we have to do as part of it, if I get accepted to it, is I have to have 200 hours working on a project that basically goes towards an unmet need in a community. And obviously, since I'm going into the addictions field, what I'm really passionate about within the addiction field is prevention. Because to me, the best way to prevent drug use, the best way to handle addiction and drug use is to prevent it in the first place. So what I'm proposing for my project is I would like to implement an Operation Snowball program. Some of you guys that have like older kids that are around my age, that are like 30, maybe even in their late 20s or in their 30s, probably went through Operation Snowball and Snowflake when they were in the Monee school system, but it's my understanding that they no longer have that program anymore. So there's not really anything that they're doing for a whole lot of long-term prevention there. And I have the option of trying to run this through the school, but the reason that I picked the township was because the township, first of all, has the youth committee, and second of all, the advantage to doing it through the township would be that it would be open to any township residents that are of that age, not just ones that attend Monee. It would also be open if we have ones that attend private school, or the sector that's generally underserved is the population of kids that have dropped out of school, that still need this prevention. They're 16 and they can still benefit from this, but they don't have an avenue to do it if it's ran through the school. But what I basically need for this is they give me a stipends to cover it and everything, so there isn't any charge. It wouldn't cost the township anything for this first year of me doing it, but what I need is like an agency, so to speak, that has liability insurance, first of all, that would allow me to use their facilities to implement it. So basically what I would be looking for from the youth committee is the commitment to be able to use this building for when we have our events. The different kind of Operation Snowball, it's not just, I actually have a few things here I'll pass out. This first one is about the efficacy of Operation Snowball. This one is just some stats on drug use in general. But it's not just like, hey kids, don't do drugs, drugs are bad. Because that's all fine and good, but that really doesn't do enough to prevent them from using drugs. Because they know drugs are bad, it's about skills. It's about giving them a skill set. And so Operation Snowball focuses on that. It's about team building. It's about getting these kids to have fun and feel connected to the community. Because if a child feels, or a youth feels more connected to the community, they're less likely to go out there and use substances or abuse substances. So it's kind of a skill set, a team building, and it actually builds on what the township already has with their gymnasium time. Because that's part of there's a whole thing about risk and protective factors. There are certain risk factors that make somebody more liable to use, and there are certain protective factors. And having something like what you guys already have implemented is actually a protective factor because it gets them in the community, teaches them a little bit of team building, kind of gives them an alternative, that kind of stuff. It would be a year-long thing. It would go from May of this year until, beginning of May of this year until end of May next year. So it's like a 13-month thing roughly. What I'll be looking at doing is having two different groups, having a middle school group and a high school group. And it would be roughly like 160 hours in that year that I would be working with the youth. So we would probably be meeting like once a week for each group, like on different, either the same night, different hours, like maybe do middle school from like 5 to 6 and high school from 6:30, 7:30 or something like that, or else different evenings. And then I would probably like to do a couple, like a lock-in or two with the kids where they would come in for the night and we would do like games and team building and order some pizzas and stuff. And again, that's all part, I can't get like $2,000 from the Schweitzer Fellowship, which is for me to use towards buying pizzas, buying donuts, you know, all the little incidentals like that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm hoping to get accepted to the Schweitzer Fellowship, first of all, because it's highly competitive. But I have worked on my plan really, really thoroughly. Is there anything I left out, or does anybody have any questions?
Is there like a program, Snowflake or something like that?
It is. It is. Snowflake is for middle school, Snowball is for high school. Then they actually have an adult family program, they also have a senior program.
So they deal with like loss, parent, or things like that?
Not a whole lot, it's more kind of prevention-based and community tie-ins, skill set of giving them like we find that a lot of students use drugs because they don't have like coping skills or they don't have the skills to think that they can say no. And they also think that they think more of their peers are using drugs than actually are. You know, so part of it's education and prevention, but a lot of it's just kind of emotional. You know, I mean, I'm sure that they do kind of deal with it. I mean, if some kid comes in and, you know, they're having a crisis of sorts, you're not just going to say sorry. You know, so that's kind of, but yeah, it is Snowflake, so Snowball, yeah.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions.
Okay.
Now, you're talking about meetings once a week. You're going to try to do them like on the Sunday nights at GSU? Is that the dates that we have? Is that going to be adequate?
We could do that, or else I could do it here on a weekday evening. I mean, that's stuff that would kind of be worked out a little bit, I think. I don't know, we haven't really, because we had talked about doing some of it, like having the component at Governor State or...
Come there and
Yeah.
do a program going on on Sundays, you know.
See, our problem is that, you know, this township is not open in the evenings unless we don't have, you know, custodial or anybody, so it's possible if you get a volunteer.
I knew it was coming, see, it's already in your way, just like snow.
Open up and lock up in that, and so that, but would you be using this more like at the GSU nights and then supplementing nights?
That's all something that would be open for discussion, and that would also be something based on, like, if I get accepted, the Schweitzer Fellowship gives me, like, some kind of guidelines. Like I said, I have to have the 160 hours or whatever that it is, like, face-to-face contact.
And that's between the two groups?
Yes, that's between the 13 months. So, like, if we did a lock-in or something, I mean, you're talking about having these kids here for, like, 24 hours, maybe, you know, or else 20 hours.
Now, during lock-in, and I think that would probably be a good idea because if you're going to take responsibility, you do need to lock them in.
Right.
Not let them out to have a cigarette or let them out the door for any reason.
Using a cigarette would be totally wrong, but yes, right.
Couple things. I mean, you talked about food, but now, you know, what are you talking about for beds? Bedrolls, cots that you supply?
Probably it would just be bring your sleeping bag. We're talking doing different, like, girls one weekend and boys the next weekend. Just because then you deal with a lot less issues if you don't have both sexes here.
And you'd have an adequate chaperone?
Yes, we would figure out whatever. I know there's probably some kind of thing, you have one chaperone per number of kids, you know. I mean, there'd be 2 chaperones all the time because I think just as a safe practice, there has to be 2 adults at any given time. But I mean, obviously, if you have 30 kids, it needs less volunteers than 60. You know?
Again, you'd have to find out weekends that your associate, David, could be here to open up.
Oh, he has no life.
For David. And it comes to, as I think you're right, our insurance, Torma does cover our insurance for, I don't think that's going to be, that would be a problem of any kind.
What's the one thing I was wondering about, whether the Torma should be, just make sure that there's no special coverage on the because you would be operating
under the youth committee?
Right,
yeah.
Right. And it's just like our youth committee. We don't pay anything extra because it'll be under our youth committee.
Yeah,
and there's nothing extra we pay for with that.
And of course, this is all contingent upon me getting accepted to it. Although we had discussed, even if I don't get accepted, trying to possibly implement something like this just on a smaller scale. Because I mean, it's an interest I have, and it's a skill set that I have or that I wish to share. So
it is part of our mission statement and
yeah.
goals and objectives about social behavior, intervention, and all of that. That's part of it. We just haven't got to that point. So you're a blessing in disguise to bring this to the table.
So if you don't get the SWITER, then you still maybe do something just in conjunction with the youth program at GSU?
Yeah, just it'll be just a little bit maybe on a smaller scale. And the other thing that we had talked about is there is actually grant money out here for this kind of stuff. Now, not for me doing it, not for this year when I'm doing it as a Schweitzer Fellowship, because the point is that we work with the money that they give us, but like to continue the program after this year, or to, if I don't get into Schweitzer Fellowship. There's actually quite a few grants that are out there for prevention activities. And government bodies do kind of rank higher to get them. It's just a lot of places don't apply for them. And I think, I had brought that in last time, I could pass this around. This is from last year, this is last year's, but.
Either ladies on my left or my right are going to attend, I believe, a January 23rd grant.
I am.
Okay, I come to see, so we're gonna have skills.
And I've taken a
But the
grant
thing
writing
with
class.
problems with grants, and let me put it out there right now, is grants always sound very good. But every grant that I've seen so far is usually you have to have matching funds.
Right.
So it's just like, and David had that with the, you get grant, but then they want you to come up with half. And if the cost of your program was $100, $50 is not going to kill the township.
Right.
If it's, $200,000, then we're not going to be able
Right,
to do it.
but like if you guys do have some money in there, I mean, you might be able to say, okay, we could do a really nice thing if we had $3,000 extra and you'd be able to match something like that maybe. And that's last year's grant proposal, but I took a grant writing class. And the grant that I wrote, I got an A in the class and he told me to submit it, I never did because it was kind of a fake grant. I mean, all of our grants were fake grants in that class.
Is that why you got an
I got an A. And I actually have a real good friend who's written this grant a couple times successfully. So I mean, if it was something that you guys decided to go forward with, if we implemented this program and liked it and the township board decided to go forward on it, it would definitely be something I'd be willing to work on, helping write or write,
It's interesting to keep it,
And that's last year's proposal. I don't think they've released this year's grants yet. They should be pretty soon, but, because that's one of the things they asked me as part of the Schweitzer Fellowship is how is this program going to continue when you're done? Because they don't want to just throw us out there and say, okay, go in, do something for the community, and then after a year say bye, and never, it needs to have a plan to carry on, so.
So knowing our finances, we would keep it as big as possible and small as dollar amount.
Well, right, and if I get the fellowship, they give me $2,000 to do it, which is got to be more than adequate. Because I think to actually charter Operation Snowball, including the training, is like under $100. So it's not like a really significant. And Operation Snowball it's a local thing. It started in Illinois, and it really is mostly in Illinois. So it's not like training is in California or something. It's all, I think it's Naperville based maybe, but it's in this area.
Sounds interesting. And I do remember some of it from years ago, just slightly. It's like in the back of my mind there. Any questions, James? Anything?
Yeah, I think it is too. I'm just wondering, how are you going to tap into the client base?
Well, we would use the Sunday evenings, hopefully to get some people from there, some of the youth from there. Hopefully putting stuff in the township newsletter would also help, we're hoping. I have found sometimes with youth, you can get them to try stuff with the lure of food. Come on out, we'll have pizzas, learn what it's about. Sometimes they'll come for that, and then sometimes they'll say, this isn't what I expected, but it's fun. Because it's not like, okay, we're all going to sit in a circle and sing Kumbaya or something. I mean, it's not team building like that. It's like, they don't even necessarily realize that they're team building. It's kind of fun games, and here's some M&Ms, take some M&Ms. Okay, now tell us something about yourself for each M&M you took. Little kind of fun games like that.
Well, I definitely will communicate this with the school board.
Mm-hmm.
And Monee Hoffman, she's a big player too. She's on the committee, so I'll communicate this with her.
What's she about?
She was the homeless person liaison at one point, so she's really involved. It's kind of this, young people get homeless and all of that for various reasons, including drug use. So.
And those people, I mean, if you have youth like that live in the township, this would be open to them where school might not be, because if they're homeless, maybe they're not in school,
Sure.
Sure.
God, I mean, this is tremendous.
So Gloria, what do you need from us tonight?
I don't really think I need anything from you guys tonight. I need to see if I'm accepted to it first to see what all it's going to entail. And my deadline is February, and I think they said that then if I make the first cut, then I'd have interviews. I think the beginning of March they're talking about for the process, and I would know sometime in April if I was accepted or not. So I think right now I was just kind of running it past you guys. Once I know if I'm accepted or not, then it would be, if I'm accepted, then I would be able to know more exactly what I need. And if I'm not, then I would work with the youth committee more to see what, fits the needs more of the township youth committee or the vision of the township youth committee. So I think I just kind of wanted to run it past you guys so you kind of knew it was, You know, because I have to show on my application that I've taken the steps necessary to, that you guys seem receptive to it versus one just, dreaming this idea and I haven't done anything for it, so.
No, I think it's a good idea, and I think it's something that we could work, as long as you have a volunteer for swimming and locking up and helping chaperone, things like that. You have no problem with using the township facilities.
I'll put another, it won't be a
I
volunteer.
wouldn't think so, because it's part of our youth committee, so we would not, it's not like it's an outside organization. Because
Right.
we would say it would be under the auspices of the youth committee, so I don't think that's a problem. with-
Yeah, I think we need to talk about possibly putting me on the youth committee.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Oh, I am?
I just said that you will be
They
forced in
expect
our
you there
next
every
meeting.
Sunday night.
No. I'll give you a little break. Look like we got a little break for a while, but I drafted you the first time we met.
Will you have something available? Probably by the 20th, we will be having our newsletter articles all in. Probably that'll be around the date that we'll be doing it. So
The 20th of January?
Of February.
Of February, okay.
Yes, so we
Yeah.
need something if you're going to have, if you have the newsletter for the next one.
Well, yeah, either way, we're gonna move forward with this. Maybe we could just put something in there, be on the lookout for information
Right.
regarding this program starting. I think our date was to start it kind of
Right,
September of next
Yes,
year, like
next
next
year,
school year.
Make
so
sure
we
you
can-
get something to Will on that.
Okay, I will.
Let me ask you something. And it's just a thought that came to mind. If you get the fellowship grant, you can move forward.
Right.
with this. If you don't get the fellowship grant, you can still move forward.
In some capacity.
Pretty much, just in a slightly different capacity. Because the Schweitzer Fellowship sets out certain rules, like I have to have 160 hours. Where if I don't get it, then if we don't have 160 hours the first year, it's not like, when the high school did it, they did it like, I think they met once a month and they had like one lock-in out of the whole year, so they weren't getting 160 hours. The only thing with the prevention program is to be consistent on some level. You don't necessarily have to meet every week for it to be effective, but you want to meet like every month, not just like one weekend, we're going to have you in here and never see you again.
Right.
As long as you're meeting once a month or something kind of regularly,
And which we worry for with the GSU, because if she wanted to do something like that on a weekly basis or every other weekly basis, at least you have a place at
Right.
GSU, it's open and you have timelines, and it's there enough time that you could have two different age groups in there,
Right.
5 to...
And that's where I'm getting my master's at as governor of state, so it kind of, it works out well. I've talked to my the chair of my department and stuff, they know I'm applying for this and everything, because that's where my master's is, so, yeah.
Sounds good.
I just heads up, we would warrant background checks too, so just
Okay.
heads up on that.
Yeah.
For any volunteers.
Right, yeah.
You're just talking about the volunteers.
For the
Right, yeah, for the volunteers, yeah.
Katrina, you probably have to come in and fill out a form and do that too.
Okay, yeah. And
Even though
I,
we know your records.
well, I've actually had a couple background checks, so it depends if you use the same companies. Otherwise, I can fill out new paperwork either way,
And
yeah.
go over and whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great, good luck. Okay, anything else, Maureen?
No.
Okay. All right, so then we will wait till the 20th to actually look at the contract and that, but we do have the tentative dates, so that's, we can have everything prepared for our newsletter, and that could have the dates and everything on there for starting 23rd, and we'll get that letter out. So. Okay, nothing on Growing Green, we're not going. Okay, trustee audit of accounts, we're auditing accounts December 20th through January 16th for a total of $71,523.35. I'm going to start it down this way. Is there a motion to approve the audit of accounts?
So moved.
Moved by Maurice. Second by Terry.
Trustee Rose?
Maybe a roll call, please.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Depper?
Yes. Okay. Is there any board comments?
Yes, I got a notice in the mail from the Veterans Assistance Commission of Will County inviting me to attend an open house on January 13th.
What was that title again?
That was the Veterans Assistance Commission of Will County. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend it. However, I did send them an email and explain my inability to be there. And I asked them to put me on mailing list, and let me know a future date. So I emailed them the morning of the 13th. So as of the day, I haven't heard from them. So as soon as I do, I'll follow up.
Okay, great, thank you.
James, how about the concealed carry? Come back with some information about.
Yeah, it's in the minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, you see, I noticed
You have
it.
those
You
placards?
see, I noticed
I was
it.
supposed to
I thought
bring
I just.
those to Willis, and I ended up finding those, and I know.
Well, we kind of took what we had and made copies for the
You already got some,
but we do need your little placard, because you said you had a lot of them.
You know, and I ended up giving some to our school board.
You know, he just gives all our stuff away, he commits himself and then gives
That's
it
right.
away.
Yeah,
See, this is what we
that's
had,
the
and I
record.
saw it was a school board conference that I went to.
Okay, great,
So
okay.
I have, there's.
Good, double more, good,
It's at
well.
5, 6.
That'll do.
So I had 12, I ended up giving them up.
Trina, this is yours.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that back, because it's quite a few papers, and I can use
You'll give
that
that to
stuff.
Willa,
Okay.
and she can have that. Okay, and what was that question you were gonna, you wanted to follow up on, anything? You did know. Anything else?
Just had a question, did anyone else receive this invitation to the line, 78 pipeline project, open house? It's Kevin Road.
Yeah, I got it.
It's gonna be held in Creek, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to be going through my property in October.
Oh, yes, you got the airport behind you.
No, not me.
He's out there.
Oh, my goodness.
He's out there.
Give me a break.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn? Moved by Debbie,
Second.
second by, all right, roll call, please.
Trustee Bowles? Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess? Trustee Young?
Yes.
Trustee Lavalley?
Yes, thank you very much. Everybody have a,
I was on the road. and-
Terry was so upset last week because she missed it.
Yeah, because I did one of your numbers. I was home the entire day. Every day is Saturday when you live off.
Why can't we say?
It could be Sunday, but that it's all the same. I was literally at home until 5:40 and then home. I just didn't know what day it was. Saturday, tomorrow. I'm sorry, but
Did you
I
have some specific questions about that?
That wasn't one of
Well, my real question is, do circles with lines in them keep people from bringing guns?
No, you don't. That's your phone?
So should we call for the?
My birthday.
But would it be right? Because